On a ship moving through the fog, a little girl, Elizabeth Swan, sings a song about pirates. Gibbs, a member of the ship's crew, tells the little girl that this will bring bad luck, but Lieutenant Gillette tells him that this is enough. Elizabeth's father, Governor Swan, wants to keep these topics away from his daughter. Then Elizabeth sees an umbrella upside down, then a child in the water, and informs the crew. They quickly take the child to the boat and come across the wreckage of the ships engulfed in flames in the fog. Gibbs says that pirates did this. The lieutenant mobilizes the crew, and they go to the wreckage with the boat they lowered. Governor Swan asks his daughter to keep an eye on the child. Elizabeth learns that the name of the child who woke up and fainted again is Will Turner. She hides the pirate medallion she found on him and does not tell the lieutenant. While looking at the medallion, she sees a pirate ship, and we go many years to the future, where we see Elizabeth as a young woman. While she is wearing the medallion that she has kept for years, her father enters with the servants and gives her a gift of clothes. He wants her to wear it at the promotion ceremony of Captain Norrington, and Elizabeth is not happy about it. Her father says that he likes Elizabeth and that he is a good gentleman. Meanwhile, Will Turner comes to visit Governor Swan. He says that he brought a sword as he requested. The governor says that Norrington will like it and thanks him. Coming downstairs, Elizabeth is excited and happy when she sees Turner, but her father takes action immediately and they set off. Jack Sparrow, the pirate captain, who has climbed onto a small boat and is looking ahead, jumps down and scoops out the water from the leaking boat with a bucket. When he sees the hanged pirates, he respectfully removes his hat. In front of the other sailors, he reaches the shore just as his small boat is about to sink. A royal official stops him and asks for his name, asking for payment for mooring his boat. Captain Jack gives him more money and chooses not to tell his name and takes back more than he paid. During the royal ceremony, Elizabeth is bored. Captain Jack approaches the dock at this time, trying to get past two royal guards while talking about the fame of the ship, the Black Pearl, saying that it is faster than all ships. One of the guards says that no real ship can pass the royal ship, the Interceptor, but the other guard claims that the Black Pearl is real and that he has seen it. Meanwhile, Captain Jack boards a ship at the dock, and the guards notice him and ask him his name and intentions. Captain Jack tells them that he wants to seize a ship, gather a crew, and start plundering. After the ceremony, Captain Norrington, who has time, explains his intention to Elizabeth, but the woman who cannot breathe falls from the rocks into the water. Captain Norrington shouts and prepares to jump, but the soldiers stop him and tell him that the woman must have hit the rocks. Jack, who is close to there, jumps into the water when he sees that the officers next to him cannot swim. When the medallion Elizabeth is wearing comes into contact with the seawater, a wave spreads around. Since Elizabeth's dress is too heavy, Jack takes it off the woman and takes her to the pier. He opens the woman's top so she can breathe and sees the medallion she is wearing. At that moment, Captain Norrington runs there with the soldiers and arrests Jack. He understands from the mark on Jack's arm that he is a pirate and from his tattoo that he is Jack Sparrow. He checks his belongings and has him arrested. Elizabeth asks them to release her rescuer, but when they do not, Jack takes her hostage. He takes his belongings, holds on to the rope of the crane, and takes off. He escapes from the bullets while circling and reaches the other side of the pier by slipping on a rope with the chain in his hands. He manages to escape from the soldiers' bullets, but they start searching everywhere. He enters a blacksmith shop after hiding behind a statue. When he sees that the shop owner is sleeping, he tries to break his chains. Meanwhile, Turner enters, notices that the position of the objects has changed, and encounters Jack's sword. He also takes a sword and starts fighting with Jack. Jack, who measures his balance, makes sure that he fights well, but when he wants to leave without doing anything, Turner throws a sword at him. Jack returns and they start fighting again. When Turner loses his sword, he takes another one and continues to fight. They climb on a wooden cart and have to keep their balance. Turner wraps Jack's chains and ties them up. When Jack knocks Turner down, he gets rid of his chain and throws Turner up. Turner pulls Jack up in the same way. They fight on the boards, but when Jack loses his sword, he goes down, sprays powder from the bag in Turner's face, and pulls a gun. The soldiers are about to come there. Jack tells Turner, who does not get out of his way, that he hid the bullet in the gun for someone else. In the meantime, the blacksmith, who wakes up, knocks Jack out from behind. Soldiers come and arrest Jack. Jack is in the holding cell with the prisoners trying to summon the guard dog that holds the key. As Elizabeth, preparing to sleep, holds her medallion, the candlelight stirs. While working, Turner thinks he hears a voice in the darkness of the night. A black ship is heading there. While the governor is walking on the wall with Captain Norrington, a cannon fire comes to their location. Jack, who recognizes the sound of the shots, says that it is the Black Pearl. The prisoners begin to tell the legends they have heard about this ship. The ship is firing all its cannons and creating chaos. The pirates, including Ragetti and Pintel, arrive at the shore with their boats, shouting and screaming, and begin to loot. Turner, armed with a sword, goes out and stops a pirate with an axe. He attacks the pirates with his sword. The soldiers arm themselves with their weapons. They respond to the pirate ship with their cannons. The pirates run to the governor's house, kill his servants, and run to capture the governor's daughter, Elizabeth. Elizabeth hits the pirate Pintel, throws ashes at Ragetti and distracts them, and escapes. Ragetti jumps and blocks her way, but a cannonball that enters the house distracts them again, and Elizabeth this time goes into a room and hides in a closet. Ragetti and Pintel say that they know the woman is in the room and that her golden medallion is what called them here. When they catch her, Elizabeth shouts parley and asks them to take her to their captain. The pirates take the woman without harming her out of respect for the code. Meanwhile, Turner, who is fighting with the pirates, escapes from one and sees Elizabeth being taken away. But before he can help her, he is knocked unconscious by a pirate. The pirate ship blasts the wall of prisoners with its cannons, but Jack is in the other cell. Jack, who is left alone, tries to call the guard dog with a bone, but the pirates who burst in scare the dog away. They recognize Jack, and when one of them tries to strangle him, his arm is exposed to the moonlight and his skeleton is seen. Jack realizes that the curse is real. The pirates leave him and move away. The pirates take Elizabeth by boat to the Black Pearl. The head of the crew, Bosun, is angry that they left the woman alive and slaps Elizabeth without caring about the parley right. At this time, Captain Barbassa comes and apologizes to the woman. Elizabeth asks the captain to stop the attack and release her people. When the pirates laugh at this, she threatens to throw the medallion into the water. When Captain Barbassa asks her name, she tells him that she is Elizabeth Turner and lies that she is a maid in the governor's building. The crew whispers when they hear this surname. Barbassa accepts the woman's offer and takes the medallion, but although he stops the attack, he captures Elizabeth. In the morning, Turner wakes up and runs straight to Captain Norrington, telling him that the pirates have kidnapped Elizabeth. Captain Norrington tells him to leave it to the soldiers and asks him to leave. When he doesn't get any results, Turner goes straight to Jack, who is imprisoned, and asks him what he knows about the Black Pearl, learning that it has gone to Isla de Muerta, where only those who know about it can find it. When Turner asks him to help him, Jack refuses. But after learning his name and surname, and hearing that he will release him, he agrees. They secretly arrive at the pier, and Jack shows him the ship they will seize. They turn a boat upside down and go to the bottom of the sea and proceed towards the ship without being noticed. When they get on the deck, they draw their guns on the royal crew and seize the ship. The royal crew shouts as they proceed to the pier with the boat and informs Captain Norrington. The soldiers go to the raided ship with their ship, the Interceptor, and start searching for the criminals. But Jack and Turner get to the Interceptor with ropes and steal the faster but smaller ship. Captain Norrington, who is deceived, angrily gives the order to attack, but learns that the pirate has disabled the rudder chain on the ship. The Interceptor breaks the boat in front of it and heads towards the horizon. Turner tells Jack that he was raised by his mother in England and that he is looking for his father. Jack tells him that he knows his father, that his name is Bill Turner or William Turner, and that everyone calls him Bootstrap. When he says that he is a good man and a good pirate, Turner does not accept this and says that his father was a merchant sailor. As he draws his sword, Jack moves the rudder and suspends Turner in the air with the mast. He tells him that the sooner he accepts this, the better it will be, and takes him back on the ship, and they continue on their way to Tortuga. There is a crazy crowd around an inn. Some are shooting, some are fighting, and all are drinking. When they get there, Jack is slapped by two women, one after the other. Jack wakes up Gibbs, who is sleeping in the pigs' quarters, by pouring water on him. Turner says it is for the smell, and pours water on him again. They enter an inn full of fighting, and Jack tells Turner to look around and starts talking to Gibbs. He says he will gather a crew and go after the Black Pearl. When Gibbs asks him how he will defeat Barbassa, Jack points to Turner and tells him that he is the son of Bootstrap Bill Turner. Gibbs brightens up upon hearing this and says he will find him the crew. As the Black Pearl continues its journey, Ragetti and Pintel bring Elizabeth clothes to eat with the captain and tell her that she has no other choice. At the table where there are various dishes, Elizabeth tries to be polite at first, but she is very hungry and dives into the food all at once. Barbosa tells her that the medallion they took from her is Aztec gold, one of the 882 identical pieces delivered to Cortez in a stone chest. He talks about the curse of these medallions and that anyone who separates even one of them from the others will be punished eternally. When he sees that Elizabeth does not believe him, he tells her that he found this treasure with his own crew before, and that after squandering it, they no longer enjoyed eating or anything else. He says that they have found the last piece thanks to her, and they will take it and pay the price of blood with Elizabeth. In the meantime, Elizabeth, who hid the dinner knife, attacks the captain and stabs the knife into his body. When she sees that nothing happened to him, she goes outside and sees that all the crew who are working have turned into skeletons. She screams in disbelief, is thrown up and down with a sheet, and thrown to the forecastle by a pirate. The pirate, who replaces his head that was cut off while trying to catch the woman, recovers himself. When she tries to hide under the stairs, the captain's monkey turned into a skeleton too catches her. While Elizabeth runs away from it in fear, she comes across Captain Barbosa. The old man tells her that the curse is real, walks towards the moonlight, drinks, locks the woman in the room, and tells the crew to get back to work. Gibbs is showing Jack Sparrow and Will Turner the crew he has assembled, which is not very satisfactory. At the end of the line, Jack realizes that the person hidden by her hat is Anna Maria, who then slaps him. Anna Maria gets angry at him for stealing her boat and slaps him again. Turner, trying to calm things down, tells her that she can have the royal ship when their operation is finished. They set off, but the rain is coming down in buckets. While Turner and Gibbs, along with the rest of the crew, try to balance the ropes, Jack tries to navigate the helm with his compass, which doesn't even point north. Gibbs says the storm is bad, but Jack says he feels they're getting close to their destination. We return to the Black Pearl, anchored behind the rocks in the fog. Captain Barbosa and his crew tie Elizabeth's hands, put the medallion around her neck, and sail into the rocks in boats. The island is covered in fog. Captain Jack Sparrow and his crew continue to advance in the area where there are many wrecked ships. Jack continues to try to find direction with his compass. When Gibbs talks about him to Turner, he tells him that Jack used to be the captain of the Black Pearl, that there was a mutiny on the ship while trying to find the treasure, and that they left Jack on an island with a gun that had only one bullet. But he says that Jack escaped from the island and that he saved that single bullet for Barbosa, who started the mutiny in the first place. Jack interrupts their conversation and says that they have arrived and orders the crew to drop anchor. Barbosa and his crew have reached the treasure and are making final preparations. Jack takes Turner with him and proceeds by boat and goes toward the treasure as well. When they arrive, Barbosa is giving a speech to his crew. He opens the treasure's lid and shouts that they have found the last piece. Turner wants to come out, but Jack stops him, tells him to stop and goes around from behind. But Turner, who is following him, knocks him out with a board. Barbosa takes out his knife, as if to cut Elizabeth's neck, but only cuts her hand and throws the medallion he dipped in her blood to the others. They cannot be sure that the curse has passed, and Barbosa shoots Pintel. When they see that he is not dead, they understand that the curse has not passed. Barbosa gets angry and realizes that Elizabeth is not a real Turner, asks her where Bill Turner's son William Turner is, and slaps her. While the crew argues among themselves, Turner wakes up Elizabeth, who has fallen unconscious, and they start to walk away from there with the medallion. The crew gets angry and starts to mutiny against their captain, but with the help of the captain's monkey, they realize that the girl has escaped with the medallion, and they go after her. They see that all the oars in their boat are gone, and when they see Jack holding one of them, they hold a gun on him. Jack can't remember the name but can barely say parley. Turner, rowing his way through the water, returns to their ship with Elizabeth. When Gibbs asks him where Jack is, Turner says he fell behind. Gibbs, as leaving those who are left behind is the pirate code, orders the crew to get the ship moving. Surprised that Jack Sparrow has escaped the island they left him on, Barbosa orders his crew to kill him, but Jack tells them that the woman's blood is useless because they have kidnapped the wrong person, so they refrain from killing him. As they continue on the ship they boarded, Turner bandages Elizabeth's injured hand. She gives him the medallion. Turner says that he thought he lost it the first day they met, that it was a gift from his father. He realizes that the blood they need is his father's blood and gets angry. Jack and Barbosa negotiate the Black Pearl in exchange for the name of the rightful owner of the blood, but they fail to reach an agreement. The crew says they are approaching the interceptor. While Barbosa watches the ship through his binoculars, Jack makes another offer to mediate, but they take him to the brig to be imprisoned. While the crew of the interceptor panics and tries to speed up their ship, Elizabeth comes on deck and tells them that if this ship has less draft, they can have an advantage in shallow waters, and they proceed that way. The crew of the Interceptor sheds unnecessary cargo to increase their speed, while those on the Black Pearl remove their oars to do the same. When they realize that they can no longer escape from this speed, Turner tells the crew that they must fight and orders them to load their guns with whatever they have. When they see that the Black Pearl is approaching them from the left, they drop their anchors from the starboard side. When the anchor gets stuck on the rock, it turns the ship sharply and wheel the rudder quickly. Realizing this, Barbossa orders them to make a counterattack, and when both ships face each other, they start firing their cannons at one another. Jack does not like the Black Pearl to be hit. The Interceptor's shots include forks and knives in addition to cannons. Thanks to the damage done by a cannon, Jack is freed from prison. While they continue shooting with rifles, Anna Maria offers to give them Elizabeth, but Turner says they are not after her and goes to find the medallion. Barbossa shouts in anger. His crew continues to fire their cannons and fight, and Turner tries to find the medallion in the chaos. They finally break the Interceptor's mast. The Black Pearl crew crosses the other ship with ropes and continue to fight closely. The chaos is getting bigger. Turner is locked inside and cannot make his voice heard. Jack emerges and crosses the other ship with rope and complains that his water bottle is empty and gives it to Gibbs. Turner goes after Jack the monkey who took the medallion. Jack comes across Elizabeth and asks her where the medallion is. The woman remembers Turner and goes to the back of the ship. She tries to help him, but is kidnapped by the pirates. Jack runs after Jack the monkey, but Barbossa gets the medallion before him. When Turner realizes that they are going to blow up the ship, he holds his breath and dives to the bottom. Pintle tells the hostages that he does not want to hear the word parley from anyone again. Elizabeth, who sees the Interceptor explode, thinks that Turner is dead and attacks Barbossa in anger. Barbossa is enraged and hands him over to his crew, but Turner, who has come aboard from the sea, tells them to stop and picks up a gun. When Barbossa tells him that they cannot be killed, Turner points the gun at himself and says that he is William Turner and that he will shoot him if they do not release Elizabeth and the crew, so they will not be able to benefit from his blood. Barbossa accepts the terms. Having arrested Turner, Barbossa states that Turner did not tell them when and where to release them, so they take Elizabeth on a board to jump into the sea. He asks for the outfit he gave her as a gift, and they throw the woman down. Then they take Jack on the board. He asks for his single bullet rifle again as a last request. Barbossa accepts this and throws it into the sea. Jack, who jumps to catch the rifle, swims to the island with Elizabeth. Elizabeth follows Jack and tells him that he has managed to escape from this island before and that he can do it again. She tells him the stories she has read about him and asks if they are true. In the meantime, Jack, who refers to a tree, takes a few steps and opens the wooden lid he is standing on and takes the drinks that rum runners use as cash. Elizabeth, who hears that this is the secret of the famous captain Jack Sparrow, cannot hide her disappointment. In the evening, they dance around the fire they have made and drink. When he gets tired, Jack sits on the sand and talks about his dreams, his pirate life, and what he will do in the future. He takes a big sip of drink for the last time and falls asleep, but Elizabeth does not drink as if she had not drunk anything that day. Jack wakes up to the smell of smoke in the morning and sees that Elizabeth has burned all the food and drink. The woman angrily tells him that she wants to get out of here, that it is impossible for the Royal Army not to see the smoke from this fire. Jack asks, "Why did you burn the drink too?" and pulls out his gun, but walks away without doing anything. While muttering to himself, he sees a ship approaching and sending out a boat. Elizabeth and Jack board the royal ship. Elizabeth tells her father that they must rescue Turner, but Governor Swan refuses, saying that he worked with pirates. Jack intervenes and tells Commodore Norrington that he will have a chance if he captures the Black Pearl, the last major pirate threat in the Caribbean, while she is weakened from her last battle. When he refuses, Elizabeth tells Norrington that she will marry him if he accepts her request. Both her father and Jack are happy to hear that. Norrington accepts this and asks Jack to guide his men to Isla de Muerta. While Turner, Gibbs, and the rest of the crew are in the Black Pearl's prison, Turner asks Pintel and Rigetti, who are cleaning the area, if they know his father. Pintel says they know him, that he did not support the rebellion against Jack Sparrow, so he thought the entire crew deserved the curse and sent the last of the medallions away with his son Turner. He was last seen sinking into Davy Jones's locker with a cannonball that Barbossa had tied to him. Unfortunately, he adds that they later learned that they needed his blood to lift the curse. Barbossa asked them to bring him. Commodore Norrington, who has been watching the Black Pearl in boats, fears that an attack would result in an ambush. Jack suggests that he go there first and convince Barbossa to send his men out, and convinces him to keep Elizabeth out of harm's way. As she is being locked in a room, Elizabeth screams that Barbossa and his men cannot be killed and that Jack is tricking them. Jack proceeds to the place where the treasure is by boat. Captain Barbossa and his men have already arrived there. They grab Turner and start shouting with excitement. Jack, who passes among the men, tells those who are surprised to see him escape from the island again that it's not a big deal. Just as Barbossa is about to shed Turner's blood, he tells him that he does not want to do this. He states that the royal army is preparing to attack them and says that if he sends his men to the royal ship, he can have 2 more ships that make a fleet of his own. He will take the big ship, and Jack says that he will serve the captaincy of the Black Pearl under the command of Barbossa, who will then be the Commodore. He says that he can kill Turner after taking the ships and then lift the curse. In the meantime, he puts a few medallions he took back in their place and hides one of them. Only Turner notices this. Barbossa wants 25% of Jack's loot in return for this offer, and they agree and shake hands. Barbossa orders his crew to take action. The immortal crew, which takes the form of skeletons under the effect of the moonlight, walks under the sea and advances towards the royal army. Pintel and Rigetti pass in front of them in a boat disguised as women to distract the army. Meanwhile, the rest of the pirates board the ship. The governor speaks to his daughter from outside the door. While the army focuses on Pintel and Rigetti, the pirates enter the ship further. The governor, who cannot get an answer, enters. But Elizabeth has already got on the boat using the sheets and escaped from there. The pirates advance quickly, silently killing the soldiers of the army. Pintel, who cannot stand Rigetti's attitude, gets angry and breaks his camouflage and shoots the army that notices them. The pirates start attacking all the soldiers, and the governor, who escapes from this chaos, hides inside. When Barbossa tells Jack that he always surprises him and that it is impossible to predict him, Jack agrees and takes one of the pirates' swords and throws it at Turner and starts attacking the others with his own sword. While he fights with Barbossa, Turner breaks free from his ropes and fights with the other pirates. Elizabeth, who is secretly approaching with a boat, comes out to the Black Pearl. Jack the monkey appears in front of her, but this time Elizabeth, who is not afraid, throws him down. But the pirates notice this and go after her. As she manages to get rid of the guards, she finds Gibbs and the others who are prisoned. The pirates who raided the army's ship continue to loot and kill. One of the soldiers rings a bell to warn Norrington and the other soldiers with him, but they are too late as the pirates start opening fire on the army's boats with the army's own ship. The pirates notice the hiding governor and try to capture him. Barbossa, tired of fighting with the sword, knows that he cannot be killed, so he throws his sword down and allows Jack to stab his sword into his body. He then takes out the sword and stabs Jack. When Jack walks into the moonlight, he takes on a skeletal form and shows him the medallion he took from the treasure. Barbossa starts attacking again, while Turner continues to fight the other pirates. The pirates continue their raid on the royal ship. The governor fights with one of the pirates' arms. Turner is unable to kill the pirates but continues to fight. Barbossa and Jack continue to fight too, despite accepting that they cannot kill each other. Elizabeth and her entourage neutralize 2 pirates on board with a rowboat. Elizabeth then asks them to help her rescue Turner, but they are also pirates and say they have already captured the Black Pearl. Elizabeth proceeds alone in the rowboat. Seeing the Black Pearl stolen, Pintel and Rigetti curse the pirates. Norrington and his men finally manage to board their own ship and engage in a fierce battle, swords and rifle bullets flying through the air. Rigetti goes after the glass eye he has dropped. Turner, who fell to the ground after a bomb detonated by a pirate, is saved by Elizabeth, who arrives there. The 2 team up and tie the other 3 pirates to a spear, place bombs inside them, and detonate it. Barbossa is distracted by this. Jack attacks again and throws the medallion in his hand to Turner, who has taken over the treasure. Barbossa pulls a gun on Elizabeth. Turner cuts his hand. A gunshot is heard. Barbossa tells Jack that he has been carrying that gun for 10 years, and now he is wasting it in vain. Turner says that it is not in vain because he sheds his blood on the treasure and lifts the curse. Barbossa, who looks at his spilled blood with admiration, says that he finally feels something, even though it is cold. The pirates that the army fights lose their immortality now that the curse has been lifted, and they drop their swords and surrender. Seeing that the pirate arm is not moving, the governor happily goes out. Elizabeth, Turner, and Jack return to the ship. Jack Sparrow is about to be executed, but he is disturbed by the fact that the person reading his sentence does not put Captain at the beginning of his name. Turner mingles with the crowd. We see the parrot of one of Gibbs' pirates. Turner goes to Elizabeth and tells her that he loves her in front of her father and Norrington, then quickly pushes the crowd away. When she sees the parrot, Elizabeth understands the situation and pretends to faint to distract them. Turner, who throws his sword at the feet of the hanging Jack at the last moment, fights the executioner. In the meantime, Jack, who escapes from his ropes, helps him. They neutralize the soldiers one by one with the rope. However, the number of soldiers is too many, and they are eventually trapped. Although the governor forgave him before, he is disappointed that Turner would try such a betrayal again. When Elizabeth steps in front of Norrington's sword, the governor tells the soldiers to lower their weapons. When Jack sees the parrot, he says goodbye to the governor, Norrington, Elizabeth, and Turner in order, and reaches the edge of the cliff, falling into the water before he can finish his last sentence. He swims towards the Black Pearl that came to rescue him. Seeing that Elizabeth wants to be with Turner, Norrington accepts this and answers his soldiers, who ask what they will do with Jack, that they can give him a little head start. The governor is sure that this is his daughter's choice and leaves her alone with Turner. The crew takes Jack to the Black Pearl with the help of a rope, stands him up, and gives him his hat. When Anna Maria says that the ship is now under his command, Jack takes the helm and shouts orders to the crew, takes his compass, and sets the ship in motion. And the story ends here.